about Can-Do. What you actually do because Can-Do is about exactly that. My profession was in all different fields of education, and it's still my passion, and I'm desperately interested in how people learn and what people can achieve with their lives. And I was working as a private consultant. One of the children, I had one of his homework just before I got ill was to do a t-shirt which said, "Shit happens," and on the back of it, "Deal with it." And when he sent me a card and flowers in the hospital, I wrote back saying, "I think I need to borrow the t-shirt." That has always been my philosophy, and it still is. And when I started hanging round Can-Do events when Richard became involved, and I just came and watched training and I watched functions, and I became more and more interested and more involved in what is actually happening. And what I saw happen is exactly the way I like to educate people. I see you all stepping out of your comfort zone, being supported by trainers and mentors and captains and founders with small achievable objectives. You're taught to chart all steps. It's always personal best and feedback from people. No, you're annoying me. Thank you, Daddy. Feedback from people who are important to you, and that's. Does anybody remember? I've told some people before how we actually have self-esteem. Anybody remember? I wasn't a very good teacher. Self-esteem, just feeling good about ourselves, feeling okay about ourselves, comes from stepping outside our comfort zone and doing something ourselves, and then feedback from people who are important to us. And whether it's a 4-year-old on a balancing beam or a 35-year-old swimming an Asian marathon, or an Irish girl I spoke to last season who could hardly swim and ended up out with the sharks from Whale Beach to Palm Beach. That achievement, I see you stepping out of your comfort zone, achieving something that you never would have thought was possible, but it only becomes possible because of what happens here in the training, that you're getting personal best, mentors, camaraderie, feedback. And the only person from the Olympics that I think did learn something was maybe Eamon Sullivan. And when I watched Celebrity MasterChef, I put my money on him very early on because I saw him actually focused on the job he was doing, and then I heard him say later on it was about the process and not the end result. And that's what I see happening with you guys each week. It's the process, and then the half marathon, the marathon, 10Ks just happens. That I think is a wonderful achievement, and what I think is that if you apply that same process to the rest of your lives, no matter what you ever want to do, you know how to go about it. It's to learn a new skill, a new sport, a new career. You surround yourself by supportive people, chunk away at it step by step, and suddenly your career or your goal just happens. But it's the process you're going to learn and Can-Do that makes the difference. I have met the researchers. I went along to a function last year, and I hope to go tomorrow night. I really only went to see what Annie looked like out of gym gear, what she looked like all dressed up in high heels, and it was a marvellous night. For me, I need to tell you, you are making such a difference. These researchers, there is hardly any money comes from pharmaceutical companies, even less sadly from government. The only research comes from private fundraising functions like you who can support these researchers. It was fascinating for me to meet them and to talk to them, because not only are they trying to find a cure for cancer, but they also work with the side effects of chemotherapy, and that was wonderful for me to hear that. Every single cell in my body has been affected by therapy. My brain has been affected, which has heard me say too often. And I used to say to David, I was functioning at the level of most men, but I've learned strategies for coping. Now, I couldn't remember where my car keys were or why I got into a room, and I have learned strategies. My nerves in my legs have been killed right up to here, and my hands I've learned to grip things, but my fingernails drop off and the skin peels and hair falls out. But one of the researchers was working on reversing the damage, which I need water, damage done to the cognitive part of the brain in children, and for me to hear that somebody was working on that in children was wonderful.
What about sense of humour?
That was the first thing Richard noticed, that my sense of humour was damaged very early on. I wasn't quick-witted as I used to be. So working on diarrhoea and constipation and all those sorts of things, and that affects the quality of life of people with chemotherapy, besides doing the research into the cure. But when I say I don't understand the Olympians, why they should be on the front page of the paper, what I think is you should all be on the front page of the Herald, be on the news every day, because you're the people who are fitting studying, working, relationships, family into training and fitness for a better lifestyle, and at the same time fundraising for other people. It's an extraordinary, wonderful thing to do, and I want you to know that it's making a difference in people's lives. I'm so proud to belong to a society with the likes of you who will make this much effort to make a difference to other people's lives. It's quite extraordinary. And before I finish, I'd just like to leave you with one idea. What I'm thinking is that the likes of the Starlight Foundation and the Make-A-Wish Foundation, if they gave their money that they raise into research, then perhaps instead of sending a child to Disneyland for a holiday, they could be sending a child home. The amount I spoke to one of the professors at the last function I went to, and I said, how much money is going into childhood leukemia? And he said, yes, but all that's being passed on to adult leukemia. And that 30 years ago, hardly any child survived with leukemia. Today, it's at least 80%. So that's wonderful. Your research is making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's what I just want to say. Just only one reason to say thank you.
To inspire us. Now, to change the dynamics a little bit, can we get a photo with you? To add to our menu. Oh, there's another one here with Richard.
I signed the release, didn't I?
You've already signed it, baby, years ago.
Okay, we'll do a visual first of me taking a video of you